Lewis Thomas Charles Richards. He told some of the worst jokes I've ever heard, and trust me, I know bad jokes. Many never get to hear words of praise heaped on them while they're still with us. That's normally left to those quickly making good at their eulogies. But we paid tribute to Lou right throughout his entire life as an entertainer and broadcaster. That is his legacy. Look, you didn't have to meet Lou to feel like his friend. His warmth radiated through the screen, much like mine doesn't. Cheeky, naughty, devilish, he showed us the way. I only stand here because he stood here before me. Do I feel sad? I do, but I feel sadder for Lou. He's left his audience behind. He loved to see us laugh. But don't worry, my dear friend. Tonight we're going to have a ring-a-ding-ding time, and by golly, we have you to thank for it.
He was a giant of our game, born in the shadows of Victoria Park. His family played over 900 games and represented Collingwood in 8 premiership sides. He was a great player, 250 games, 1953 premiership captain for Collingwood. He was everything, Luke.
Playing football, it mightn't sound much about many people, but it's a big deal in your life. And I was captain of the team, and not very often a bloke my size becomes captain of a side.
One of the things he was able to achieve is surpass or overshadow his career as a player. Like, he had 250 games, premiership captain, but sort of everyone sort of forgot about that. And by the time that he got in front of a camera and did what he did as a media personality, he became everyone's Lou Richards, not just Collingwood's.
Well, how's the side shaping, Bob? Well, the side's going right there, but I want to know what you're doing standing up on that step. It makes me look taller.
Well, thank you very much, John Kennedy. Congratulations from everybody in the football world.
Dirty boy.
The Marini hairstyling, the raw colour, and this is something great, Porian. It'll stick anything to anything.
And the red chilled chocolates, and of course, got the telefunken portable. The telefunken portable.
And the wise men were John, Roberts, and Louis.
Look at the two of you. You were good looking when you were. You weren't, Jack, but you were.
Listen, Louis, beauty's only skin deeper than you couldn't find it with a pick and shovel.
You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. You're going to say anything to me at all, you dummy?
What does he say?
He didn't say.
Oh, you're supposed to hang it up for dummy.
She's hit it and broke the point post. Oh, talk about a he-man. How was that? He split it right down in half. Bartlett and Magro having a battle there, but it's Bartlett getting around Magro. Look at the little jam go. Coming around the boundary line, going for goal number 7. What's the result? This premiership is Shooty's premiership with these tremendous moves he's made, Bob.
Nobody epitomised Melbourne and its love affair with football and entertainment more than the great Lou Richards.
I love a joke, but I don't go too far. What would you expect from a multimedia megastar?
I'll give it.
They've got no hope, Carlton.
I invented the Collywobbles, and today I buried them. The Collywobbles are 12 feet under, and they'll never rise again at Victoria Park.
And what's this little number here, Lou?
That, my friend, is your family tree. Do you get many requests?
Only one.
What's that?
Today, about 8,000 locals turned up to see Louis in the soup.
I love them turning. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
You wouldn't.
Where am I?
Lou Richards was one of the most gracious and fun-loving people you could ever meet.
And thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Lewis Thomas Charles Richards.
a very special footy show tonight because we will be paying tribute to the great Lou Richards. Now, I tell you, we're going to do it in the way, I reckon, Hutchie, that he would have absolutely loved. A good old-fashioned way. We're going to have some good old-fashioned laughs.
We are old school tonight. We pay our respects and we celebrate the life of Lou Richards. This is the house that Lou Richards built, the pioneer of Thursday night television long before we tread these boards. And tonight we pay our respects to one of the great entertainers, part of the Channel 9 family here at the network. And who better to do that, Becca, than those who knew him best at the 9 Network. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with us and welcoming to the stage Eddie Maguire, Tony Jones, Sam Newman and Bill Barras.
That kiss went a lot better than last time you tried to kiss a Beck on Channel 9.
I finally got one.
Finally got one. Gentlemen, it is so great to have you here on this really momentous occasion. I know it's a sad one, but it's also a joyous occasion as well because we've all got such great memories. Well, particularly you guys have got such great memories. And Sam, I want to start with you because the World of Sport days, oh my goodness, you must have had some fun.
Well, I worked with Lou for 7 years on the World of Sport and learnt quickly about informality, lack of preparation, doing it off the top of your head and not taking any notice of whatever directions you were given. Lou had a unique capacity. He would come on, Ron Casey would say, give us a rundown of the game you saw on the weekend, Lou. Lou would give the scores and how much the side won by, which was the bleeding obvious. Yeah. And then he'd immediately attack Jack Dyer. And he'd say, Jack, you wouldn't have got a game if you'd been playing yesterday. And Jack would go, oh, you'd be joking, Lou, wouldn't you? And that was it. They would just slag each other for about 5 minutes until Ron would say, well, give us your votes, Lou. And Lou'd say, who'd I give the votes to? And he'd have to get the bloke off the back of the camera. He couldn't remember who he gave the votes to. That's where I first learned about, well, not how to do it, but just learning from the star himself.
You loved working with him? I did.
Everyone loved working with him, and let's not monopolise the fact that I worked with him, but there was thousands of people's worked with him and hundreds. And
we'll take a look at some of your work here on the World of Sport, and probably a bit before you this work, Sam. It was such an institutional show, part of a lot of people's upbringings, and he was the central figure in it, wasn't he?
He was, along with, of course, Jack and Bob, and here we are. That is me, I think, standing there or sitting there next to him.
You look good with the most, eh?
Yeah, thank you, Becca. No, he was, well, he was, we are here, as I said, because he was here before us, and that's not an exaggeration, that's not hyperbole, that's a fact.
Tell me about the tipping in the news. That was a great segment.
Yeah, well, John Sorrell got Lou over from 7. Yeah. When the World of Sport finished, or maybe you got him over before it finished, I'm not sure. And we did the weekly tipping on National 9 News. Lou had no idea who to tip, nor did I. We tried to work things out, and Sorrell got fed up with us in the end, and he just left us to it. We had about 100 takes to do something that was so simple. Ed would have gone mad if he'd actually had to direct us. And we did it at the end of every news broadcast on Thursday night. We did it, yeah.
Yeah, well, we had to do it on Thursday nights because they were airing on Friday nights, and I don't think we could have actually got them shot on the one day.
That's correct.
It took that long.
Just on the footy tips, do you remember, Sam, do you remember the incident when you were run over by your girlfriend? Yeah.
We do remind him every week.
Which particular time?
The first time. So everyone, Eddie will remember, everyone was camped outside Sam's house because it was huge news at the time. Anyway, the only one who could get him was Lou to do the tips. So we walked in with the 9 cameras, and there was Sam propped up on his couch with the biggest plaster cast you've ever seen on his leg, this God almighty brace, and Lou sitting on the couch, and we said, right, let's do it. And Lou's gone, so which leg was it, Sam?
Eddie, great to have you back and here tonight, and congratulations on your role in Lou's journey, particularly in recent years. What did he mean to Collingwood and to you personally?
Well, I'll give you the Collingwood perspective early on. There was nobody that epitomised what Collingwood was all about more than Lou Richards, the cheeky rover who used to threaten blokes. If you get in my way, I'll kick your head over the grandstand, he'd say at Victoria Park. But he was good enough to put iodine on his boots so that they wouldn't get infected when he kicked them. You know? And that was what Lou was all about. He had a line, but he was hard, he was passionate. He loved the club. He loved Collingwood so much. His grandfather, Charlie Pannon, played in our first ever game in the VFL. His 3 generations of Panham Richards were captains of the club. His brother Ronnie was best on ground in the 53 grand final. He absolutely adored the fact that his clan had played more games of VFL AFL football than any other. And it meant so much to him. I'd run into Lou, how are we going, Ed, how are we going? We're going to go all right this year? And he supported the club without reservation. Now, Lou's sense of humour, we know, was just legendary, but I remember there was one time in water sport where he had a bit of a go and sent up the club after a losing grand final, and the club really got upset about it. But Lou was such a great part of the club that all that faded away quickly. But what you saw with Lou is, regardless of how dour the situation was, if it was a losing grand final or things were going bad, he lifted the club because at the end of it you realised it was just a game, but it was such a big part of everyone's life. But, you know, you talk about the World of Sport days with Lou, we all grew up on it. Yeah. I mean, is anybody waiting for the Patra orange juice, the 4 and 20 pies, the Ballantyne entertainments, and don't forget Tosca travellers, always travel first class.
Blacko shirts.
And all that sort of stuff. And that was Lou. And, you know, he said, when I met him the first time, personally, as a little boy, my dad took me to the MCG for the first time to see Peter McKenna. Yeah. And we went to the Phoenix Hotel, and I stood on a crate up on those old-fashioned round tables and had a steak, and there was Lou behind the jump and Edna, and I couldn't believe it. We went down, Collingwood beat Richmond, McKenna kicked 9, and that was it for me. I couldn't have had a better day of my life. But Lou Richards was just everything.
We hear all these, sorry, Beckett, we hear all these stories about his legend in Toorak. Is it true that he used to get out in the dressing gown in the morning in the limousine?
Well, he used to work on Triple M on the D generation, and he'd drive down to get the Herald Sun in the morning, and he'd park the Mercedes-Benz in the middle of the road. He'd double park. He'd go in his dressing gown. He'd ask for the papers. He'd start talking to everybody, give a recipe out, maybe do a gag. He'd come out to the number 8 trams. No one could get to it. Hey, Edgar, have you got 8 there? You know,
it actually got to a point where he couldn't even be bothered doing that, so they would come out to him. He was like the first official drive-through.
He invented the drive-through.
Hurry up, will you?
Phil, you also had some great times working with Lou, probably in the latter years of his entertainment years, but you got up to a lot of mischief.
Well, the Sunday Footy show, I was lucky enough to work with him, and he told some of the worst jokes. But you'd stand next to him and you go, ah!
Oh, is that where you got that from? Yeah, you invented that then.
Sam does it too. He does the fake laugh beautifully, and he'd do it too. We'd all laugh. But then he's unbelievable. We spoke about this before. He'd go, that was a good joke, wasn't it? After, he was very insecure. For a bloke that was a superstar in the media, that was a good joke. How did we go? What was it?
Well, he needed reassurance. Yeah. But, you know, I was talking to his daughter Nicole yesterday, and she was saying that just goes to show the professional that he was. But in the news, when he would come on and do his spot, and he'd have 2 paragraphs to do live, and I'd have to have them written by 10 in the morning so he could have the next 8 hours to rehearse them. And even though it was off auto cue. Anyway, so he'd finish, and the first thing he'd do when he walked out, he'd say, "Was that all right?" Yeah. So, yeah, it was good, mate. Was it okay? Yeah, no, it was good, mate. It was really good. And then you'd hear him up the other end of the newsroom. "What do you reckon? Was that all right?"
And Tony, the thing is, you talk to him, he'd be able to quote to you the ratings to the decimal point. He was so fiercely proud of everything that was going on, and you know, he was such a dapper dresser, and Edna would be there. I remember when Carla and I first met Edna and Lou at Victoria Park one night, and Lou came up and said, "Carla, stick with us at Collingwood, you'll be wearing diamonds, darling." Beautiful. And Edna said, "Whatever you do, Carla, when you come to these functions, never check your coat in. They always steal it, so keep your coat in." Things like they were just homespun, but there was genuine warmth and love that when you were accepted and you were part of their family and the fraternity. And I remember meeting Lou the first time as a man when I was 18. It was the first night I actually met this bloke at a VFL function.
It was a big night.
It was a big night. Sam took me out for dinner, took me to Silver's nightclub, got me my first drink card, and away I went from there.
Well, speaking of being introduced really early to Edna and Lou, you've had a really close relationship, TJ, and a pretty momentous one because it was a pretty special time in your life.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I remember when I was getting engaged to my wife, I had to borrow money off Lou to actually buy the engagement ring. So I borrowed money off him, and don't worry, he ticked it off every week when I had to pay him back. And
it was a ripping Cupid, Sigourney.
How much did you borrow, Tony, in those days?
$150, I think, or something. No, it was one of it. Well, it doesn't matter. You don't put a price on everything.
Can't put a price on happiness.
You know, Carla was the one wearing diamonds. My wife missed out. But anyway,
pack of cards.
When we were getting married, we'd set up house in Box Hill, and Lou and Edna came round to teach us the bridal waltz. So there we were in the...
Hang on. Was Lou a good dancer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a good dancer.
One of Lou's greatest regrets, probably only regret, was he wanted to be a song and dance man. Unfortunately, he could neither sing nor dance. So they've come round to Box Hill, and we're in the back room, and so I'm dancing with Edna. Lou's dancing with my wife Annette, my fiancée then, and they taught us the wedding waltz. And so we had to do it. But the next day, one of the neighbours came down and thanked us because we'd never had a Mercedes in the street before. I mean, it's actually a really nice memory, but not so much for my wife because, as I said, we just set up home and she'd had this nice crystal bowl on the coffee table. And Lou was a good smoker. And he walked in the back room and he's gone, yeah. It's not a bad joint, is it? Yeah. Right on the crystal bowl. And butted his smoke out in this bowl.
I tell you, the way he met Edna, of course, was he met her at the Collingwood Town Hall at the dance, and as Lou said, he put a footy sock in his pocket.
Hang on, what?
No, so that he still smelled of liniment, so she knew he was a footballer. Not for any other reasons. And then, and it was all that sort of stuff that they did. They were just great fun times, and Lou and Edna just together, just were the most wonderful couple. And Edna was so stylish. And she dressed him and made sure his pocket handkerchief was there and the tie matched. And
they had a really deep, beautiful love, didn't they?
They did.
And she ruled the roost.
Edna was the CEO behind the Richards. Correct me if I'm wrong. CEO behind the Richards franchise. Don't worry about that.
Wasn't there a famous time when Edna had to interject that involved you at that 300th game that we played when you pretended to be shocked that night?
That's
that was the celebration of your game.
We had
Here's the vision of you looking shocked at the 300th party. That's genuine vision. And we're told that Lou spoke that night and Edna actually clipped his wings on that occasion.
Stephen Phillips was sort of comparing it and he asked Lou to speak. Lou got up on a chair and he spent about the first 7 minutes running down the people who owned the Italian Waiters Club, you know, tongue-in-cheek, but they didn't take too kindly to it. He said, have a look at these people behind us, will you? And what sort of food do we get? And they were getting as black as a hat, they were. They were as angry as 12 men, the people who owned the Italian Waiters Club. And Edna sensed this, and Lou was just getting into full swing, and she said, Lou, sit down. Lou dropped like a stone. Never spoke for another word the whole night. That's a fact.
Hey, Bill, what about the time on television with the snakes? Is it possible that he didn't think they were real snakes?
I haven't seen this. Have
a look at this. He thinks they're rubber snakes, OK? He's got no idea they're live because he hates snakes. So he thinks they're rubber. He's just doing that. Look, honest to God, he thought they were rubber snakes. He's throwing them around. At the end, he's throwing around, and someone goes, they're real snakes, they're alive. He goes, no, they're not. Because he actually hated snakes.
Absolutely, yeah. And BT, and he's saying, who's the big tough man now? And BT, I think BT went out back and ate a couple of them. Anyway, but Lou, of course, the handball was synonymous. But there was this one time, we pre-recorded the handball because of timing more than anything else, but in later years it was because we couldn't trust Lou. But anyway, we recorded the handball, and this one particular day, I think we might have it on tape, we'll play it in a tick, but Danny Frawley says to me, Mark Johnson was doing the handball, and Danny Frawley says to me, mate, I think Lou just told him to F off. And I said, what? And he said, he just told him to F off. And I said, he didn't. He said, he did. I said, I did not, mate. Don't be stupid. So anyway, we didn't check it and it went to air. And this is what went to air. But you'll need to listen to it.
He's on fire. 38.
38, that'll do.
That's enough. Knock off.
Right.
You got to show it again.
So we'll try and show it again. But when it actually went to air, Danny's gone, I told you it did. Can we show it again?
Yeah, go again.
Here it is.
He's on fire. You got to listen.
38.
38, that'll do.
That's enough. Knock off.
In later years, you drove really hard to get a statue built in front of the new centre, which still stands today. And I know you were very passionate about it. Yeah. There was a lot of conjecture. I know you were all very passionate about the fact that he wasn't inducted as a legend into the Hall of Fame, and the moment was missed. This was the great moment, I reckon. This was when the whole footy club and the whole footy world stood as one, and if ever anyone deserved a statue, it was this man.
Well, you know what? It was the day, I think, thankfully, we actually told Lou how much we loved him. And he absolutely entertained all those young players around him. He spoke to them, told them old stories about Victoria Park. Everything you could possibly want from one of your champions, he gave it to them. And there was a fair bit that we lobbied pretty hard, obviously, to get Lou admitted as a legend. In a game that changes the rules every week, it seemed a bit strange to us at Collingwood that they couldn't understand the grandeur of what this man had given to the game, particularly when the whole game became about television rights and entertainment and everything else, that surely this would be something that'd be seen as equal in parts to being a really good player. And they always said, oh, well, he didn't get picked in the Collingwood team of the century. Yeah, he didn't, because Bob Rose held him out, who was probably one of the, if not the greatest player, the top 2 players ever. So he was a bit unlucky in that situation. However, at Collingwood, we believed that a statue was appropriate. You can miss out on being a Hall of Famer or a legend of the AFL, but if you get a statue, we thought that that was pretty important. And Lou, for the next year, when I told him we were going to make a statue, asked me every single time, how's the statue going? Is it happening? And thank God we were able to unveil that statue with Lou in good spirits, and also for his family to just understand how much we genuinely love this man and everything he gave to Collingwood, but more particularly to football, and even bigger to the state of Victoria. He was a deserving king of Moomba. He just gave everything, and in a lot of ways he personified the grander game to all of us growing up as kids. You know, he actually inspired what we did originally and what you guys continue to this day on this show. What Tony used to do on 9 News with him, and Stephen Phillips over at Channel 7 and the World of Sport days, was everything that was about the game. Mucking around, get out on a Saturday, get into each other, whack in as hard as you can, then have a beer afterwards. And, you know, when it's interesting that we look back and you think of Lou and you think of Jack and Bob and Teddy Whitten and these guys. They were hard men through hard times, but the most giving people you could possibly meet.
And he was the first of the multi-platform superstars, wasn't he? He built the newspaper industry really in Melbourne too. He could drive. Well, he didn't build it, but he drove. He drove subscription. He drove readership. The stunts were famous. Many people, Becca and my vintage, loved the Kiss of Death as kids.
Yes.
And the stunts really were before their time.
We'll have a look at this here. Here he is with Maxie Walker, I think, is at a circus here. And there's some really good stunts. You boys will know more about this, Sam, especially at the Bowen River. Then we got he's cleaning Dermot's car. Have a look at Dermot here, by the way. Look at him there. But there, you had to clean Dermot's car for that one. Then there's a haircut, Mill Hannah. Yep. Of course, he lost a bet there, so he had to get... And then this is on the Bowen River, down at Geelong, in a bathtub. I think there was 8,000 people there that day. And then that was down at Lygon Street too. But he used to feather duster down Collins Street.
But Tony, I reckon you got it right before when you said how he wanted to always be a song and dance man.
Yeah.
And what was great, and what lives through this show, is that you'd see on Channel 7 in those days, Lou would call the footy, then be on the Penthouse Club with Mike Williamson or Bill Collins, who'd call the races that day. And these were guys living the life. I mean, Sam, that was really the inspiration for everything. That you're a WC Fields aficionado. You knew all those great British comics. And to see these guys in action, these were the local blokes in our town who got what we were about, who didn't do gags about the Queen. They did gags about Richmond versus Collingwood and got stuck into each other. And it really just meant so much to have these people who were local people who just made great and became just massive figures on the screen.
Well, Ed, talking about those relationships, TJ, talk us through his relationship with Jack. It was very close, wasn't it?
Sam would... well, I don't know if they were mate. They didn't socialise a whole lot, did they?
Not at all.
But that's not to say they didn't like each other. I remember leaving the football once with Lou and Edna. I used to always say I'm going to the footy with Nana and Pa. Anyway, so we were leaving the football with Lou and Edna, and Jack happened to be walking across the car park. I think he just finished with 3KZ. And it was warm. The conversation was warm. There was a great relationship there, but I don't think they were ever friends.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that Lou didn't love him, and I assume the relationship was vice versa. But you recall that morning on the Sunday footy show. Jack Dyer died on the Saturday.
Passed away, yep.
The same as dying.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
It's nicer.
It's a nicer one.
It's a nicer way.
Righto. Okay, Jack had passed away on the Saturday, and remind me to sing my eulogy for
Sunday
me.
morning.
So Sunday morning, we used to always.
It's like Jack and Bobby.
we used to always
have breakfast
at the Sunday Footy show, but we'd have our meetings about half an hour before Lou was scheduled to get there. That way, we'd actually get through the meetings. Anyway, so the Sunday after Jack had passed away, we were gathered around there, and I was producing the show. Gary Lyon was hosting it. Anyway, so we could hear Lou arriving.
Shuffle.
Yeah.
You could hear him shuffling up there. So here comes Lou. So
he
we
walks in.
What state he'd be in. We were worried about that.
Yeah, and, you know, he'd lost his mate. Anyway, so we left it up to Gary Lyon to actually speak on our behalf. So Lou shuffles in, sits down, and sort of, oh, shit. Anyway, and we look at Gary, and Gary's gone, Louis, just on behalf of all the guys here, I just want to say, you know, we're very sorry to hear about the passing of your great mate Jack. You know, we're all feeling for you, mate. And Lou's gone, yeah. Pass that egg and bacon sandwich, will you? Okay, fine. Anyway, let's continue with the meeting.
He did that for a laugh, didn't he?
No.
Sam, I think people underestimate how good a caller Lou was as well.
Yeah.
He was a great, accurate caller.
And he wrote the own nicknames into those calls too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the nicknames.
Lethal Lee, Hungry, some of the great names.
Fabulous Phil.
Yeah, all the thing gasometer.
Incredible Hulk.
He told a story once about the lethal nickname and how Lee Matthews' mum didn't like it.
Oh.
And she actually said to Lou once, she said, I don't like that nickname at all. And he said to her, that nickname is going to make your son a lot of money one day. And it did.
Yeah. But you talked about how good he was in the media. And Hutchie, you understand these days the circulation. The circulation of the Herald or the Sun News pictorial in those days was over 600,000. It was the biggest selling paper in Australia and one of the biggest per capita in the world. And I know that Graham Perkin, who was the legendary editor of The Age, said that Lou Richards, if he could have got him across to The Age, would have brought nearly 200,000, 300,000 people with him. He was just so big. So you'd read him on a Saturday morning in the paper. You'd go and you'd listen to him call the footy. You'd see him on the Sunday on the World of Sport. He was just ubiquitous. in his just the way he was the heart and soul and the culture of football for so many years.
And both of you, Eddie and you, Tony, who were family to him, you had a very unique relationship. Both of you did. Have been given the honour of doing the eulogy next week. It'll be televised here on 9, as it should be, at the funeral. And
State funeral on
State
Wednesday.
funeral on Wednesday, of course. And get a minute, there it is there, on Wednesday, 17th of May at 11 o'clock. What's this mean to you, Tone? Like, you run pretty deep, you two. You've got this beautiful bond.
Yeah, well, we were very good friends.
How will you approach it?
How will I approach it?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much the same as what we've just done here, actually. I don't think Lou was 94, and Lou had a very, very good life. Lou had one of the best lives you could possibly ask for, and his family is well aware of that, and they'll be the first to tell you that. But so I think we celebrate. His daughter's speaking, Nicole. His grandson Ned speaking, Eddie speaking, and also Ron Joseph is speaking. So all the spectrums of his life will be covered. So I think we do it in the sense that, yes, it's very sad that he's gone. It's very sad, and we are very upset. But he was 94 and he had a wonderful life, and he's back with Edna. And that's the greatest piece of comfort of all.
Yeah. We do. I agree with Tony. We're celebrating a life, and what a life. And from my point of view, you know, the stories of Lou Richards go back to the start of football, to his grandfather, Charlie Panham, to talk about people like Jock McHale, who coached Lou. And, you know, you think of the 53 grand final, we think of 1990 and 2010 at Collingwood as the drought breakers. This was a drought breaker, and within a month, Jock McHale and John Wren both passed away. People said because one of either the relief or just the strain of the grand final. But the stories of John Wren and how Lou used to walk past him. One day he said he had 4 showers because he used to walk past John Wren because John Wren used to give him a sling of money if they played well. He couldn't get John Wren's attention. He nearly drowned in the shower for Lou. He was wrinkled by the end of it. So you're going back in time, and so hopefully we'll be able to just do justice to what he meant as not only a Collingwood person but as a football identity. And remember, this was a suburban game, an Indigenous game that grew to become the biggest game in this country, largely off the wit and the elan and the fun of Lou Richards.
And I would certainly encourage everyone to come to the church, to the cathedral on Wednesday, because it is, as we said, a celebration. And if you can't get into the cathedral, then I'm pretty sure it's being beamed across the road at Federation Square on the giant screen. And I think Eddie Collingwood's doing its own honour on the day.
What we'll do is we'll honour Lou on Saturday up in GWS in a small way. Everyone, and can I just say this, the whole football world, every club has asked if they could wear a black armband in Lou's honour.
Yeah, I just heard that, which is
and
a beautiful tribute.
It's mighty.
Yeah.
It's mighty. It's what makes our game great. You can. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, it does.
And as an extension of that, and I don't want to get too twee about it, but I think it wouldn't be inappropriate for every footballer this weekend, whatever age group you're in, whatever competition you're playing in, I think wear a black armband, because it just goes to show we respected him. And at some point, we all, not touched by him, but we laughed with him. And I think it would be not inappropriate for everyone to actually wear an armband.
And Tony, to finish off that, the following week against Hawthorn, we've spoken with the Hawks, and we'll do a big night at the MCG on Saturday night and have a fitting farewell from a Collingwood point of view. But to your point, Tone, the other thing that I reckon Lou would love us all to do is not take it all too seriously. To remember it's the fun, it's the glue of our society, because it's the fun, it's the parents down cooking the sausages on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning at junior football, to the how big it is on grand final day, but never letting it get on top of you. And, you know, the one thing about Lou is you'd have a blue, but then he'd bring in the Patra orange juice and send you on your way with something to go home with. For
Well,
the
you
kids,
know what, gentlemen, we could sit here and probably talk till midnight tonight, but we do have the rest of the show to do. But we just want to thank you, and I think it's been a real honour and a privilege for us who didn't know him that well, Hutchie. I think I would speak on behalf of us to let us in on your insights and your memories, and some of those stories have given us feel a little bit closer to Lou Richards tonight, even though he has passed. So thank you very much on behalf of the Footy Show for coming in and sharing those wonderful stories, everyone. Billy Brown, Tony Jones, Eddie McGuire and Sam Newman, thank you. Certainly Lou Richards will live on in our hearts and memories forever. We're going to take a short break here on the Footy Show, and we'll be back with a very good panel after this. Stay tuned.
The Footy Show. On the eve of our great game making its mark on the Asian continent, we cross live to Shanghai to talk to the captains of history, Travis Boak and Stephen May. Forget the smog, this game is nothing to be sneezed at. She's caused an uproar in the stands of grassroots footy. Tonight, we get an update on Beck's bid to ban the banner. Ahead of his 300th game, we chat live to bomber James Kelly and his old mate Jolie Selwood about this weekend's celebration of country footy. Thank God I'm a country boy. Tonight we announce a new competition where fans can pocket themselves a cool 50,000 big ones. And no Lou Richards tribute is complete without the return of the greatest segment in Footy Show history, the one that bears his name, Lou's Handball. It's in-your-face entertainment, and I mean in your face, tonight on The Footy Show.
That's it, everyone. Welcome back to The Footy Show. And let's get on with doing Lou proud and have some fun tonight on Thursday night television and leap straight into it. Beck and the banner controversy to come still, by the way. Stick around for that. This has blown right up among the fans. We're going to get to you in a moment, Becca. You'll have the chance in a moment to respond to the controversy of the week. But let's get the panel in. First of all, the Melbourne ruckman Maxie Gawn, the superstar. The Hawthorn superstar, Isaac Smith. And Australia's, in fact, the Southern Hemisphere's best comedian, the great Dave Hughes.
Hughesy! Welcome, boys. Welcome, boys.
Thanks, guys. And can I say, just first up, that was a beautiful tribute to Lou Richards.
Wasn't
So
it?
well done, everyone. Wasn't that brilliant,
It was
guys?
beautiful.
These guys were a little bit young, but as a kid growing up in country Victoria in the 70s, Lou Richards was everything to me, an absolute superstar. So yeah, and look, good on you, Lou.
Yeah.
How's your week been, Hughesy? How are the Blues going?
Yeah, look at him. He's got the big smile on his face.
Got the Blues
He's
supporters.
happy.
Blues are going great.
Your mood is pretty much rests on whether the Blues win or lose, don't
It was
they?
amazing, and especially I was at the MCG with my son, my 8-year-old son, who's now an Adelaide supporter. Yes, first quarter he's got the iPhone watching Adelaide get belted by North Melbourne. He's crying, going, Dad, have they kicked a goal yet? I said, who cares, mate? The Blues are winning, all right? So hopefully we'll get him back. I really hope we do. But Caleb Marchbank, young superstar, along with Sam Petreski-Seaton, who's both superstars, both been nominated last 2 Rising Stars, but already we've got the swagger back, and I think you'll appreciate this. For Marchbank, he was asked last week as to what's the best thing about playing AFL football. Have a listen to his answer.
Favourite thing about being a footy player?
Can you say drink cards?
Nah, okay.
I don't know.
Running out on the MCG.
Oh, yeah. Running out of the MCG.
I go with the drink cards. Be
I would
honest,
go with the drink cards.
Do you love the drink cards? You guys love the drink cards, or...?
Yeah, I don't mind the drink cards, especially at a certain place on Queens and Collins called CQ. That's where.
Well, it sounds like you're going to get another drink card after tonight, I'd say.
That's where the majority of the footballers go.
All right. Maxie, welcome to you. But I tell you, is that actually you?
Yes.
Over there. You look so different. No beard. What happened?
No, I had a midlife crisis, Beck.
At what? How old are you?
I'm 25.
25.
I just needed a good excuse to shave it, and I tore my hamstring off the bone. I thought that was a pretty good excuse.
Well, now, from the woman's point of view,
Yeah.
seeing as you are the only woman here,
Yeah.
what do you think of Max without the beard?
Just be careful here, Beck.
I mean, Max can handle it.
I'm devastated.
What, do you think he looks better or worse without the beard?
Much better with the beard.
With the beard.
Much better with the beard. I'm not on my own, am I? Bring back the beard.
So what
I
aren't
haven't
you
shaved for
happy?
2 weeks
What
yet.
aren't you happy with?
Well, he looks all right now, but when he first did it, you look.
I'd chat amongst yourselves.
Would he look better with a balaclava on, would he?
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, I love you, Maxie. I just think you look more cuddly with the big beard.
Well, I haven't shaved for 2 weeks. I shaved it 2 weeks ago, and it's slowly coming back. It's
What
actually
did
not
your
curly.
girlfriend think?
Yeah.
She met me with it, so she's got no sort of say in it, Dave.
So she met you when you had the beard,
Yeah.
but now you don't have the beard, so what did she think? What has she been on?
That's
So
what I
did she
thought the question was.
Yeah.
What does she think of you without the beard?
I think she likes it.
No, you've asked her, and she's told you. What did she say?
Does she want the beard back or not? I mean, it's a pretty simple question.
I think she's happy with what I've got at the moment.
Max, can I be candid?
Yes,
Beck
you
doesn't like you. Beck doesn't like you without the beard.
Often.
Yep.
So I'd grow it back if you want to come on again.
Hey, Max, you actually tried to do some good with it, didn't you? You tried to auction and sell it for your charity Reach. How did that go?
Yeah, I tried to sell my beard hair, which
It's a little odd.
can go on a mantelpiece, and it actually went really well. It sold for $3,500 to Reach.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big price tag for a beard.
Unfortunately, the person who paid the $3,500 on eBay couldn't come up with the money.
What?
So I think it's back up for sale. No one wants it.
You didn't get his credit card. You just so is that possible? You can just bid on the beard and then not pay up for the beard?
Yep, surely it goes to the second bidder. That's what I would have thought. The person who bid $3,490.
You're pretty flat about it, aren't you?
Yeah, look, I was pretty proud of my beard going for $3,500, Dave. And then when the person didn't pay for it, but it's obviously going to a good cause, which is
Guess
the
what,
main
mate? Guess
reason.
what? We put a phone call out here this afternoon. Our good friends at Chemist Warehouse, Mario, the main man, has said he will give you $5,000 for the beard, all right?
Wow.
$5,000 for your beard.
And he's also, you've got a Gillette razor there for your next beard, and he'll buy that one as well.
Well,
so,
if I'm going short on money, I've got $5. Can I do the moustache for $5 as well?
I don't know, mate.
Close shave, not getting the cash the first time, Max, I reckon.
Isaac's got no shaving issues. You've got your face groomed perfectly well tonight, Isaac Smith. It's really nice to have you in. And are the Hawthorn fans up and about? Back on the winners list, it must be a great feeling.
Yeah, no, it was good to
And relief.
get a win back, especially against Maxie's team, and it was nice that he wasn't playing. So It's been a bit of a tough year, but it was nice to beat the D's.
Have a look at this. A nice running goal for you late in the 4th term.
Cecilia.
Good feeling. We like showing you kicking winning goals.
It's great kicking winning goals, not losing points, but,
Yeah.
which I think you're referring to.
No, I was not. Do you think your season starts now?
It doesn't start now. We started 7
know,
weeks
but
ago and we didn't start too well, but...
restarted.
How many Victorians do you think have felt sorry for you in the last 7 weeks?
About 72,000, probably, Hawthorn supporters.
Well, where have they gone? They haven't turned up, have they?
There's a few here tonight.
You've had your turn. Give someone else a go. Jeffy Garlett was trying to get into one of your players, Stratton, on the weekend, and have a look at this. Oh, 3. He'd actually kicked 3 goals. He's put the 3 fingers up, but he really... What, are you saying 3 premierships, or was he saying you're actually going to beat us by 3 points, Ben? So good on you, mate. So well, how do you go with that sort of thing when a Melbourne player gets into you? Do you laugh at them, or what do you?
Oh, mate, we haven't had anything to laugh about the last 7 weeks, so... No,
Didn't you get into the Melbourne captain before the game? What did you say to Nathan Jones on the wing?
I didn't say anything.
You did say something. What did you say
I
to
didn't
him?
say much. I just asked Jonesy why he was starting out on the wing and not in the guts.
And how did he respond?
He whacked me in the guts.
All right, let's get into the first game. Ironically, it's Hawthorn and a big chance at their second home in Tasmania on Saturday against the Brisbane Lions at the University of Tasmania Stadium. And the Hawks have got the 2 changes. Sicily out of the side. Interesting. Fitzpatrick and Henderson get second chances against the Brisbane Lions, who have got some changes of their own. A bit of experience comes back to the Lions. With Bell, Walker and Buick in, they lose Robinson with that foot for 10 weeks. The big story in this game, and the one to watch, is Tim O'Brien. He emerged before our eyes last week, 10 marks, and if he brings that sort of work up forward, the Hawks could really get rolling in the second half of the season, Max.
Yeah, I agree, Hutch. He definitely dominated on the weekend. I was sitting up in the coach's box and we were wondering who was playing on him at times. He's getting joined by one of my good mates, Jack Fitzpatrick, this week down forward, so good to have him back in the team, but I'm picking Hawthorn by about 4 or 5 goals.
You're obviously with the Hawks and Hughesy?
Yeah, I think the Hawks, they're going to get 2 in a row.
Samuel.
This is at is this the University of Tasmania Stadium? Is this the same stadium as Aurora, but they've just got the naming rights? Or
very prestigious
Exactly
university
the
in
same.
Tasmania, Sam. What
is it the same stadium?
Exactly the same spot.
What
Is that going to change your tip?
Well, I was going to say, I wasn't
It's
going to give a
Tasmania,
tip because I wasn't familiar with the ground, its nuances and how deep the pockets are. But if it's the same ground, I reckon the Hawks...
It's a sponsorship deal. The University of Tasmania are obviously sponsoring the Hawks.
Yeah, I reckon
or the ground,
probably the education of Australia could do something better with their money than sponsor a football club, wouldn't they?
No, it's fantastic.
What, the University of Tasmania
It's one of the best
sponsoring
universities in the world.
Eh?
One of the best universities. Attracts people from overseas.
Yeah, well, what do they have to sponsor a football club for?
Because people are going to turn up, they're going to eat a pie, look up and see the name and think, I'm going to go to university.
That's exactly my point. Very good point. It's not as though you're going to go out and buy a car or go and use some of their power tools. Oh, yeah, I'm going to enrol and do a secondary course on something, being an imbecile. Well, we'll go for Hawthorn if it's the same ground.
Same ground. Just want to say, real shame for Mitch Robinson with that injury. He was giving the Brisbane Lions some real drive up there, so he's out for, what did you say, 10 weeks or
10
something?
weeks,
Yeah, really nasty injury. I'm going to go for the Hawks in Tassie at the same ground. OK, we are flying through the games tonight because we don't want to go until midnight. So let's get to the next clash. It is the West Coast Eagles up against the Bulldogs. Hey, really looking forward to this match on Friday night. It's at Domain Stadium, and it's going to be a fantastic one. Let's have a look at the teams first. Out goes Giles and Hutchings. In comes Liam Duggan and Fraser McInnes. Over the page to the Western Bulldogs. And the big story at the airport was no Bob Murphy at the airport. Everybody went into a tiz, could not find Bob Murphy. He is out. Josh Dunkley also out with a shoulder, and Stringer out with a knee. In comes Dale, Redpath and Webb. But the story for this match has to be Elliot Yeo. Is he the most improved player in the competition? His marking ability is absolutely brilliant. He's terrific through the midfield, Max.
Yeah, their whole back line. McGovern, you're seeing Elliot Yeo here, Shannon Hearn. They're marking any ball that goes inside their 50 at the moment, so they play that ground really well, and they've gone a little bit smaller as well, dropping Johnny Giles, so I'm going to go the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, I think It says here that West Coast won 8 of their last 9 against the Doggies over there, so I think you have to tip the Eagles over there.
Yeah, but the one they lost was the final last year, and that's the one the Bulldogs wanted to win, and no one thought they were going to win that one, and no one thinks they're going to win this one, and they will win this one. Go Bulldogs.
Sam? Yes, absolutely. The longer you go losing a game over there, the sooner it'll be before you win one. And I'm with you, Dave.
Sorry?
Well, you don't understand that?
No. What?
The longer you go without winning a game, the sooner it'll be before you win one. That's the law of averages. That's
based upon that,
the University of Tasmania talking about.
So the Bulldogs for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm going to go West Coast at home, I think. Yeah. West Coast at home for me.
Now, speaking of controversy, we had a pact, Sam, did we not? We're a new team, the three of us, that we would stay out of trouble, out of the media glee.
That's it.
Oh,
normally,
he never agreed to that, as if Sam Newman would agree to that.
You've got your foot in it over the years. We're the new kids on the block. I thought we're all aligned on this. What has Becca got us into? With the banners. It's unbelievable, what's happened. This is the talk of social media. Before we get to that, I want your views on this, Sam. This is what happened last week here on the show.
Don't you think it's time that we maybe don't have the banners?
You're off the banners.
Oh,
No, hear me out. Everything in the game has become very professional, right? So? And then to start the game, we run through a bit of crepe paper, which costs $2.50. Seriously, I just had a week of walking in Sam Newman's shoes with everybody hating you. Now I know what you feel like week in, week out.
It was hostile, wasn't it?
Beck.
Seriously, I've been trolled on Twitter. I've been accosted in the street. I've had Tim Watson had a go at me. Everybody's had a go at me. But I'm still booing me.
Why do you hate the fans so much?
Yeah, exactly.
Hang
Why
on.
do you hate the fans?
No, I do not hate the fans.
What's wrong with the fans?
Just because you're warm up there in your corporate box. The crepe paper's all they've got.
Is this ever going to end? No, I tell you what, though.
They're not such bad people.
No, seriously, it's not the people. Sam, back me up on this, please.
No, you're on your own.
I absolutely love the cheer squad. It's not against the cheer squad at all. I love the cheer squad.
I'll back you up. I know what you're trying to say.
It would not be a game without the cheer squad. I just don't know if I love the starting the game with the banners.
What are they going to do?
Other clubs have
What are they going to do on a Friday night?
Well,
you know,
North Melbourne have a blimp and they have a curtain
no,
that comes
the banners,
down and they.
Beck, if you had no banners, you wouldn't get any of this great vision. Have a look at this beautiful vision. Watch this. It's fun time. The banners. Look at this guy. Bang. Watch this one. Love that. This is my. Yeah. The whole team goes through. This is my favourite. Look at this guy. Bang.
After that, I'd say pick the banners.
And you've been about lucky tonight.
You know what has happened, though, Beck? You've unified every cheer squad in the league, and they've got together, and they've got a banner especially for you. And, I mean, we're going to get you to run through it a little bit later on, but just have a look at what it says. Here we go. Come on, Maxie. Come on, Isaac. This is the banner. Hard feelings, Beck, but what the heck? Without makeup, you look like Shrek.
That looks more like Sam Newman, not me, surely.
Well, there's only one way to get rid of that, and that's run through it later on, Becca.
Let's get to a break because James Kelly plays his 300th game and his old mate Joel Sullivan joins him here next on the Footy Show.
Man, but James Kelly enters the 300 club this weekend. He's been a triple premiership star with the Cats where he played 273 games, made All-Australian in 2011. He was thrown a lifeline as a top-up player for Essendon last year and still playing terrific footy this year. They call him Mr. Reliable, he's Mr. Dependable. He's played with some of the very best in the competition. He is a humble, quiet superstar, and sometimes that is the very best indeed. He is a genuine star, James Kelly, and we are lucky enough to be joined by triple premiership star alongside his former teammate tonight, Joel Selwood. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Great you could be with us on this really special occasion, James. You are about to enter a really exclusive club, the 300 Club. Does it feel a little strange for you doing it in an Essendon jumper?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, the ideal thing would have been to play it all at one club, but having said that, I'm really grateful for the opportunity I've had at Essendon last year and then playing again this year and be able to get the milestone for a big club and a place that I really enjoy being at is something special.
James, be truthful. Did you honestly orchestrate this so it would be against your former side Geelong? So you'd be around all your old mates? You had a rest?
Yeah. Yeah, the rest was, it was planned, but it was strategic also. So, but I'm happy that I get to play it against Geelong.
Well, it is fitting. It's a remarkable story. You had retired, of course. You were, I think, entering the workforce. You got the unexpected call. Does it feel just surreal to be playing against a team where I suspect when you retire, your heart will return to?
Yeah, like it's a little bit strange. It was, like you said, I'd retired. It was completely unexpected. It was my second day at work at the AFL and I was having lunch with a few of my new colleagues and got the phone call. So completely unexpected, but welcome nonetheless. And I don't regret coming back and playing, and I've enjoyed my time at Essendon.
You're going really well at Essendon, mate, but you had a brilliant career at Geelong. It didn't all work out for you guys early on, though. I want to take you back to 2005. You were playing a final in Sydney against Sydney. They won in a heartbreaking last quarter. Nick Davis kicked 4 goals. But just before the first bounce, you did not have your boots on, did you? Why did you not have your boots on? Tell that story.
Yeah. Well, I used to warm up in my runners like a few guys did, and that particular game I had to see the doctors before I ran out onto the ground. So I saw the doctors and came back out, and I couldn't find my boots, and I was starting to get a bit anxious because I couldn't find them. And Nathan Ablett, who'd pulled out, it was a late withdrawal from the game. He was actually walking around in the grandstand wearing my boots because he'd forgotten shoes or something like that. So we had to chase him down and get my boots back. And
now, is it true
fortunately, he got them back just before the start of the game.
But he was wearing your boots. What else was he wearing?
I believe he had a suit on.
Hey, Joel, great to have you along tonight. And you're both there, of course. We'll talk about the country game in a moment, which you're here to promote tonight. A big game this for the Cats. You've had a couple of off weeks against teams that you would otherwise expect to beat. You come up against your great mate there, one of the pranksters in your young days at the Cats. But you need to spoil this party on the weekend for James to get your season back on track. It's been a long time since the Cats have lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, we would like to spoil the party, but yeah, we're going to come up against a side that will want it just as much as us. And, you know, we've got a challenge to try and get some good form back. We've sort of been a bit patchy the last couple of weeks. And not moving the ball how we would like. So the challenge will be going out and defending them real well.
Joel, how is your ankle? I think you trained okay, but you did hurt it last week. Will you be playing?
Yeah, trained well today. Wouldn't miss Cal's 300 for the life of me. So look forward to being out there on Saturday night.
Joel, it's Maxie Gawn here. I'm not sure if you remember, but I did my tendon when I was trying to tackle you. Did you pick it up? Because I can't find it.
Oh, Maxie, I think they were selling it in Coles. We're at a Coles function right now. They're selling it in Coles the week after you did it. So probably worth a bit. It'd be a big tendon.
Let's have a look at the game for the weekend, the teams for this game. It's Essendon and Geelong on Saturday night at the MCG. The Cats, have they swung the changes? More on that in a moment. Essendon are the home side in this game, and Joe Watson back in the team for the Bombers is the good news. Standon's career at an interesting point. McGrath gets another chance, and they've played the extra tall, the Bombers, against the Cats. There's 5 changes in the Geelong side. As there's some casualties for the form, no question about that, including Thurlow and Darcy Lang. But the big story in this game, one of the great stories in football, is this man, Mark O'Connor from Ireland, who's played 4 games. Get that. 4 games of AFL football in his life and is plucked from obscurity to play on Saturday night. And Joel, an unbelievable story this, that someone who's played, I think this would be the least amount of games anyone's played in the history of AFL before they get their chance.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if anyone's played less. But, you know, Mark came over with a great attitude. He was an unbelievable Gaelic rules player over there. We picked him up as a 21-year-old player. He was the guy that challenged blitzers through the running throughout the pre-season. And he's just got this huge willingness to learn and big work ethic. And he's found his way into the side. I thought that it may be this year, but I probably, like a lot of others, didn't think it would be this early. But the kid's ready to go.
Now, James, I'm not quite sure what I'm asking you here, but I'm told you have an alter ego, that when you have a couple of drinks and get a little fly blowing, you lapse into a character called Nolan, who is not unlike Sir Les Patterson. Is that correct? And could you lapse into a bit of Nolan for us?
Well, I don't know if there's a six-pack behind here, yeah, but yeah, look, Noel shows up unannounced sometimes. He's never welcome, and everyone is happy to see the back of him. But
and he's a bit
X-rated. Like
X-rated.
Steve Johnson gave you that.
And he works a bit blue, does he?
He's more rude than blue, I'd say, but yeah, he's not the best guy.
now just finally for the statisticians, you're going to play your 300th game and welcome to the club, but you probably, Geelong won't say you played 300 games for them, and Essendon won't say you played 300 games for them, so you're just a 300-game play with no club, really.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate.
That's
He's no less a 300-game great than you just because he's played a
Yeah, well, the only
I'm
difference
just saying,
Sam,
who claims him as a
Sam,
300?
the only difference between his 300 games and yours is he's got 3 premierships as well. So, but at the end,
James, no, I'm not. James,
I think
please.
The other thing is, Sam, is I'll play 301 too. So.
James, please, you are a star. You are magnificent. I'm not saying anything about your ability. You are fantastic. I'm saying who claims you as a 300-game player?
I reckon both teams.
You know what would be lovely, Joel, if at the end of the game you actually help carry James off the field. Wouldn't that be lovely? How about it, Joel?
Is that going to happen, Joel?
Thanks, Husey, yeah. Well, it may happen, yeah. I mean, I haven't spoken to Callie. He may just want his new teammates to do it too. So we usually leave it up to the milestone man himself to decide on what he wants to happen on the day.
Well, what do you think, James? What do you think, James?
We'll be in chats.
Well, I think everyone should line up and I should crowd surf off. Probably appropriate.
Max, the tip?
Tip, I'm going Geelong in this one and a close one.
I don't know, I've loved watching Kel play over the years, but I'm going to have to go Geelong.
Drizzy?
But I think the Bombers are going to get it done. I don't.
I'm going to this game for the first time in 3 years in your box.
That's right.
At the MCG. So 15 of my friends, or 14 of them.
Glad you're invited. Thanks, Hutch.
Well,
So
no,
we can get you a
you
spare.
said that I wanted to bring 15 of my friends.
And I wasn't invited to that either. Going well.
So
Open invitation.
Yeah, so half of them are Essendon supporters and half of them are Geelong. So I'd be a close game, and I think Geelong might win.
We'll go with the catchback, obviously.
I am, but yeah.
This is going to be absolutely a fantastic game. The Power Core Country Festival will be huge. Free festival in Yarra Park from 2 o'clock. Live concert with country music stars Shannon Knoll, Lee Kernigan, Sarah Storer, Ute Muster, Farmers Market, kids activities, sheep shearing, a whole lot more. Get to your seat before the bounce as we celebrate the wonderful people in regional Australia. You're a country boy, Husey.
Absolutely.
We love the country around here, Isaac, don't we? And we look forward to a ripping night. And we congratulate James Kelly and thank Joel Selwood for joining us tonight on the Footy Show.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you. Cheers.
It is a milestone game. Enjoy every moment of it, James Kelly. He is an absolute superstar.
How could that possibly be construed or misconstrued as disrespectful?
No, it isn't.
You didn't ask the question very well.
Well, how would you ask it? If you don't play 300
No, I
games
know
for
what
a
you mean.
club, which club claims you? It's just that is...
He'll be
No,
Geelong
come on,
race.
Sam. You're from Geelong Grammar and you let him down right there, I believe. But on the subject of Geelong Grammar, country, it's the country game. You're a country New South Wales boy, aren't you?
I am here.
You're a city wanker, aren't you? But, no, we love him, no doubt about that. But Gil McLaughlin, he could be more country than the AFL CEO. Have a look at him handle a sheep. Yeah, look at how the way he handles the sheep. I mean, that's the man who knows how to touch his sheep. And just watch this bit where he goes, where do I hold the sheep? At the back there? No, I better not hold it there. No, let's move out. Oh, back there, yeah. Good on you, girl.
Well on everyone involved. We wish them luck on the weekend. Sam's mailbag is up next, right here on the Footy Show.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Footy Show. Gee, we have some magnificent sponsors. Home Timber and Hardware, go where the tradies go. Chemist Warehouse, buy the Delta fragrance for your mum. What a great idea this Mother's Day. Telstra, stream it live, fast and data free. And our friends at Sportsbet, download the mobile app today.
I noticed the Delta fragrance arrived for you already tonight, Becca.
Got it straight on.
Biggest selling fragrance at the moment. And get this too, a huge round 8 ahead with plenty of great matches. Why not make the most of it with the Sportsbet AFL multi-promo? Head-to-head multi on 4 or more legs, and if one fails, you get $50 back in bonus bets. To get started, put your multi together, just download the app, and if you're having a bet, always, please, gamble responsibly.
Okay, let's get into this game because I think it is going to be an absolute ripper. It is the Adelaide Crows, Saturday night at Adelaide Oval, and they are taking on the Melbourne Footy Club. Let's take a look at the Adelaide side. Out goes Knight and Jake Lever with a hamstring. In comes Troy Menzel and Miller as well. Over the page to Melbourne, out goes Kennedy Harris. Oh, the Melbourne fans are up and about tonight. And in comes on that side Kent. And the story out of this one, I mean, Adelaide have teams started to work out how to play Adelaide. North had an upset win, of course, last week, and they did it by not letting Adelaide get out the back goals. Bernie Vince also celebrates his 200th game. Do you reckon the sides have worked out how to beat Adelaide yet, Matt?
Well, I've just been handed a stat that I need to give to Goody straight away, Beck.
Yeah.
Adelaide has been kept scoreless in the first quarter 3 times.
In their history.
In their history.
Yeah.
And the opposition team that did that scored 145 points every time.
At the end of the game.
So all we have to do is keep them scoreless
Easy.
in the first quarter and then score 145
Easy
points
done.
or more and we win the game.
Easy done.
Team effort over here, Sam. Team effort.
Tipping, of course. No point asking you who you're tipping. What about you, Isaac?
Well, my mate Jonesy got 2 Brownlow votes last time they played, so I reckon he might get 3 this time and Melbourne will get the win.
I mean, I'd love to say Melbourne can win, but the self-appointed difference isn't playing. Are you still calling yourself the difference, Max?
Are
you still...
Yes, no. Well, it was me and Jordan there for a while, Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis and I is the correct number. We both missed out on 2 games there where we lost both of them, but then he came back and beat Essendon, so he was...
Yeah, but then he lost last week, so are you back to being the difference?
We lost to the 4-time premiership players.
I think Beck thinks the beard's the difference to be. Break the hard news there. Samuel, tipping?
Max, could you read that stat out again that you had without Dave filling in half of it for you?
Okay.
Oh, gee.
Well, he made it relevant, the stat. You said they've lost 3 times when they haven't scored in the first quarter. I thought this year. That's in the history of their club. You didn't say that.
Well, grammar's not my strong point, Sam. They've been kept scoreless in the first quarter 3 times in their history.
Thank you.
And every time that's happened, the team that versed them scored 145.
Incredible, Sam.
It's a great stat.
It is now that it makes sense, David.
Sam, who are you tipping?
I'd have a Brazilian. You'll get 20 grand for your hair.
He's got the shaver. We could do it on the show. No.
Husey, that's possibly the worst idea you have ever had.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
That's implying there's hair.
Tips, Samuel?
What's that?
That's implying there's hair there.
Oh, no. You weren't one of these guys with the grizzly Adams up doing nothing down there.
I just went like this the whole way down.
Probably it enhances the clean snap better if there's no hair there.
Who are you tipping, please?
Adelaide.
Adelaide. Becca?
Yeah, I think it was a little hiccup for Adelaide last week. I think they'll bounce back in fine style. Sorry, Melbourne.
And the membership's a big push for the Demons, Max.
Yes,
we got 40,000 for the first time in our history, Sam.
That's amazing.
So we've actually, for those that haven't signed up yet, which I'm sure there still is a few, there is, for any new member that signs up this week, they receive a $75 New Balance voucher. And you can buy a membership for about $75, so it's basically getting a free pair of shoes.
Wow.
And in fact, New Balance have helped us out, and they've got us all some sneakers.
We're all members.
They've got us all some sneakers, so I'll hand them out.
Work.
Hutchie, you're about a 14, are you?
That's it, spot on.
There you go.
Thank you, Max.
Becky, you a size 14?
No.
There's a woman's pair over here.
There's a woman's pair.
There you go, Isaac. Adidas
It's
will
just
love
like
that.
if you had the beard, you could be Father Christmas right now, Maxie.
Are they Nutbush worthy? Are they worn in?
Yeah, I'm sure they could be.
Thanks very much.
There we go.
Thank you, I'll wear mine, but are you allowed to wear them?
Well, I reckon I'll wear them for a week and then they'll blow out and I'll get back in my Adidas.
Okay.
Gee, pretty imaginative colours on them. Incidentally, so by the way, Bang and Olafson came good with the headphones. We got headphones. Remember we said we've got. No, I've got a nice pair of Bang and Olafson headphones.
Have you worked out how to use your headphones yet, Sam?
No, but someone said, "Do you want headphones?" And what did I say?
Yes.
How did you know my name was Phones?
All right.
Rightio, I don't know if we should get to this next segment or not now, but we're going to have to because it said it in the rundown. Okay, it's now time for Sam's mailbag. Put your shoes on.
Put your foot in it, all right, didn't you? What? Put your foot in it.
Yeah. Minnie of Druin. Just one Minnie, not Minnie of Druin. Dear Sam, I read where Johnny Depp pays someone to tell him his lines in an earpiece. This is Johnny Depp. That's just what I said. They've confirmed that because that's what it says on the caption. Why in God's name, says Minnie, don't you have someone doing that during mailbag? Every week you get more lost than Amelia Earhart. You know who Amelia Earhart was?
She got lost.
She was an aviatrix.
She was a pilot.
She said, and she said, don't worry about finding my plane. See if you can get hold of my luggage for me. I actually, I actually do have someone who tells me what to do, and he's up in the booth. This is he.
Numua.
I have a hidden earpiece.
You actually think you're above the earpiece, don't you? You think you're that big a star that you don't need an earpiece. Like,
Well, we have them.
Craig, I don't compare the show. You keep an eye on the running sheet, and when you say jump, I say how high. Why would I need one?
But I mean, you've already got voices going on in there anyway.
Jump to the next item.
It's
if you
Doug's
can,
57th birthday today, Doug Hawkins.
Hey,
so happy
Doug.
birthday, baby. And also, I know we're late, are we?
Yeah.
And also, a very good friend of ours whose position you took this year, but he's a great man.
Yep.
James Brayshaw is 50 today, so Jimmy.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Oh, happy birthday, Jimmy. 5-0.
Wow. And anyhow, Minnie goes on from
little
Drew,
one.
are you lonely? She says, is that why you are so all over the shop? How do you feel about marriage these days? Well, a bit like this.
I promise to be your biggest advocate and your best friend. I commit to sharing with you in seasons of abundance and in seasons of scarcity. I commit to sharing with you in seasons of abundance and in seasons of rest.
I don't know. Probably, Minnie, you're asking, what do I think? I don't know if that's if you're a proposer or anything. You'd have to send a photo in. I'll just give you a tip, no woofers. Send a photo in, we'll have a look at it, and if
Move on.
You pass the...
Letter 2.
This is from... Jesus. Darius? Darius. Darius of... And another name I don't know, Tamora. Darius of Tamora. Holy hell. Home of Australia's premier aviation museum. What is that?
Is that Isaac, is that where you're from?
Well, it's Tamora. I lived there for 7 years. Beautiful town.
Tamora?
Yeah.
I've never... Where is it?
About an hour west of Wagga.
Oh, I've never heard of Tamora. Have you been to...
The aviation
I have been to the aviation museum.
What would be there, a plane or something?
Yeah, probably aviation.
Oh, Jesus. Dear Foss, what would they have an aviation museum at Temora for?
Well, why not?
Well, what, have a DC?
Well, David Lowy, Frank Lowy's son, the Westfield, the big Frank Lowy, David Lowy set it up.
Did he?
Oh,
You know a lot about it,
Probably have a stealth bomber there in that case.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he'd probably have everything there. Dear Foss, any chance you could say something positive about football this week? Well, I believe me, I've tried. I've given it my best shot over the years.
Oh, no.
Together, sir, we look down there and we say, we love AFL with a big smile. Now, ready, set, go.
We love AFL with a big smile.
Just not long graduated from the University of Tasmania, that Umpire Shane McInerney says Darius will be officiating in his 450th game. Instead of the usual bag him, give him the respect he deserves. No.
No, come on, Sam. That's, I mean, without the umpires, there's no game. And Maxie, you agree with that, don't you?
That's an incredible stat, 450-odd games.
So it's almost as good as Adelaide round. Good stat. That's huge. That's 20 years.
I wonder if he got knocked around as much as me playing 300. You get knocked...
Unbelievable achievement.
Well, it is, Craig. We've got this tribute package, so here we go, Shane.
Jordan, you'll have the call. Jared, you'll have the call.
No. Shane, fantastic. Congratulations, my friend.
He found one mistake in his whole career, and you make 5 in every letter you read out.
One mistake. He made 40 of them during the game. No, good on you, mate. Well done. Well, it's a great effort. Well, shit.
Come on.
From Rowan of Wangaratta. Sam, do you truly think you are superior to the general populace? The way you belittle the panel each week, and Bill in particular last week, is scandalous. Well, I only ask Bill as a tribute to our audience who mightn't know, as just educating the audience, did he know what TAFE meant? And he started off, he had no idea what TAFE meant. This is Billy. I am at TAFE. Bill, meaning TAFE?
Tertiary something. TAFE, you have to...
Yeah, what's
I
it
don't
mean?
know what it is.
What, it's an acronym. What's it stand for?
I don't know. Tertiary accommodation.
Yes, he's studying at the Tertiary Accommodation Footwear Exhibition.
That's it. No, Foss, I know what it means, okay? Technical and further education. That's what TAFE means.
Well, you're telling me?
Yes.
I know what it means.
Because no one else knew. No one knew on the panel. No one knew that. And I've been to the Gordon TAFE during the week in Geelong. I've done a woodwork course. And guess what I've built? You ready for it?
No.
If it'll come on. I built...
See...
The wheel! And guess what it says on every one of them? Get stuff to you, Fossil Dick. So that is TAFE, technical and further education.
Yeah. I repeat again, if you're thinking of sending your son or daughter to Assumption College, don't.
No? Any Assumption? Righto, you ready for the war cry? You ready? Error, 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 rum. Up to your bubble and zing bang golly won't stick to the blue and blue. Hey, eka peka, sha sha sha. We want, zing bang bang. Assumption, yeah.
You're in the Sam's mailbag. GPO box 9, Melbourne, Victoria. I think you got him. 3001 on 9now.com.au/AFL Footy Show.
The reason that Sam's actually walking off is because he's actually been to hospital this week and had an operation. Phil, did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
He's actually got a big brace on his tummy and his back. He had surgery on his
That's
back.
it, isn't it?
Take a rest. We'll take a break.
Keep the camera on him.
Damo up with the news and a whole lot more right ahead on the Footy Show.
Show. We are immensely excited about this next announcement because we have a brand new segment. It is called Footy Smarts and it is brought to you by Telstra. Get very close to your TV screen. It is a live quiz. We're doing it over 6 weeks. This is where 5 fans with incredible footy smarts are put to the ultimate test of their footy knowledge right here. Now, the winner, have a load of this, is going to take home $50,000. Actually, you've got the details on how people can enter this new competition.
Sure do, Becca. Footy Smarts, it pretty much rules you out, Sam. It's a special exam on the 21st of May, designed to separate the 5 contenders from the pretenders. If you love and think you know your footy, it's simple. Register your interest on Get Involved at 9now.com.au/AFL Footy Show. Spots are limited. Get in quick.
They are. So remember, this competition is all about your footy knowledge. So if you want to be in with a real chance, you probably need to do some study, I suggest. So all you need to do is download that AFL Live official app, which everyone's... Please don't text me, Mum, because this will be embarrassing. That's the app. Everybody's got that app on their phone. It's got everything you need all in one place, so make sure you download that now. Live scores, stats, all that sort of stuff. If you've got a Telstra mobile customer, you can watch, of course, every footy match live, which I do, fast and data-free with your AFL Live Pass. That is a new competition. Thank you very much to Telstra. $50,000.
That's it. Speaking of smarts, Becca.
Yes.
One of the smartest men in football journalism, one of the most acclaimed journalists in the country, 17-time AFMA winner, Damien Barrett. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Hutchie. We'll get straight into it tonight. There's unusual developments in the chase for Brisbane Lions Josh Shackey, with his management actively shopping him round to prospective buyers. And what the management is telling these prospective buyers is that if you're interested, you're going to need to stump up every bit of $3.5 million over a 5-year period. We know that in the front-running stakes for Shackey, should he choose to lead the Lions, it is Richmond and Collingwood, which are indeed front-running, and clubs are being told that that is the ballpark in which they're going to need to get themselves involved if indeed they too are keen on him. So that's the case. Just on that there is already competitive tension in him, and the management wants more than that. Richmond, we touched on them just then. The future of Ben Griffiths is no clearer tonight. There is no time frame yet set for his attempted return to football following the latest concussion he sustained. It was his 6th concussion in the 7.5 years he's been in the AFL, and it is a worry for him and the club as he attempts to work out what lies ahead for him in football.
Is it possible he doesn't come back, Damo? Is he a career threat point?
Look, he's contracted for next year, Hutchie, and at this stage there is no talk of that being the case, but it's going to be at least a month away before he considers playing football again at this stage, and it could well be a bit longer, and there are concerns, and they're working through it as they do with their experts. Just quickly, David Zaharakis, Matthew Lloyd suggested that it may be time for him to have a rest in the reserves. Well, he's been picked tonight to play for the Bombers against the Cats, but what has happened is that some clubs are monitoring the situation with Zaharakis. He seems to be out of favour in the eyes of these clubs, and he is out of contract, a free agent, at the end of the year, and those clubs will continue to monitor what happens with him.
Thanks, Damo. Number one, as always, Damien Barrett here on the Footy Show. Speaking of the Tigers, let's have a look at their big clash against the Fremantle Dockers on the weekend. They're at home on Sunday. Squad tonight to pick from. The only big casualty is Boston, who's out with the shoulder injury. And they run into it. Now Curvis back's a good in for the Tigers. They play better when he's in the side. And they run into a pretty hot Fremantle right now. They've found some form over the last month. And they head to Melbourne with a little bit of confidence. The youngster Bellick's out with illness, but Pearce is back. Subin gets another chance, and they're playing good footy. The big story here is their forward line starting to kick goals. Taberner was 6 last week. McCarthy having a good season. Just maybe, Max, they are a finals contender. Just maybe.
Yeah, and they beat us at the G as well, so they actually play that ground pretty well. Sandilands goes forward as well. So I'm actually thinking they might cause an upset against Richmond and get over the line. So I'm tipping Fremantle.
Yeah, I think if my old mate Bradley Hill plays like he played last week, then Freo will get over the line.
Freo?
No, Matty Taberner's a good friend. Matty Taberner, good on him. No, he's nephew of a good mate of mine, so good on you. And back in the team did really well. But you know what? The Tigers are going to win this one.
Sam?
Yeah, the Fremantle just starting to... they're going to make the 8, the Fremantle Dockers.
No.
You said that at the start of the year, didn't you?
I did say
You
that
did.
at the start of the year, but Richmond will beat them.
How?
On Sunday.
Richmond?
Yes, Richmond
Sunday.
will beat them on Sunday.
Yep.
You weren't happy with that tip about Fremantle making
I don't
the 8?
think they'll make the 8.
Don't you, Dave?
No, I don't.
Well, look, I do.
Okay. I am going to tip... You know, I'm always tipping Dusty. I tip Dusty every week. Dusty,
Yeah.
Richmond. There we go. I don't know why. I just like him.
I go to
I just really like the way he plays footy.
I go to a coffee shop Dusty goes to every week.
Do you?
I could bring you down and introduce you to
That sounds like a good idea.
Jerry's.
Okay.
I go there as well, so...
Yes.
We can all hang out one day, Sam.
We could, yeah.
Can't wait for that. Let's get to this next game. It's a big clash at Manuka Oval. The Giants up against the mighty Pies. Let's take a look at the GWS Giants side. Injuries to Hopper, Kennedy, Mackie Kennedy also out. The big in this week is Lockie Whitfield. We'll talk about him more in a second. Sam Reid and Daniel Lloyd on debut. To the Collingwood side, Adam Treloar out with an ankle injury. Broomhead, Mason Cox out as well, and Ramsey. In comes Aish, Blair, Shade and Daniel Wells. Obviously, the story, though, I mentioned it, is Lockie Whitfield straight back into the team after a 6-month ban. He is a very handy player, Maxie.
Back. He runs hard out on the wing there. Obviously served his time for what he did, but it's glad to see him back and hopefully he plays well.
Yeah, I reckon GWS are pretty hard to beat up at Spotless, so... I was waiting for your tip, Maxie, but you didn't really tip anyone.
I think I tipped Whitfield to win.
So we'll go to the Giants.
Yeah. Look, Collingwood were pretty good last week, but they ran into a red-hot Carlton, so that's the way you go there. How are they going? How's Carlton going since you were rubbish?
You actually should thank me. Since I said that, made that ridiculous statement that they're the worst side in a decade, they've never looked back. And if I get them into the 8, they could make the 8, Carlton.
Now you're talking sense. But Collingwood are really angry after getting beaten by Carlton. This is actual footage from Saturday night that Maynard put on his Instagram. Look how angry 3 of the players are. Maynard, Reid and Ramsey. Have a look at how angry. Look at what they look just so angry. I mean, they are ready to have a sleep, basically. So, yeah. Anyway, good on them.
Is this the game where Scott Pendlebury said that if he's... Have I got that right?
Yes.
Yep.
That if his wife goes into labour during the game, he will leave the field. What if he gets the phone call?
He won't play.
What Scott doesn't realise that Eddie is in charge of the phone. He has the phone and he will be not giving him any such message at all. He'll say after the game that she thinks she's gone into labour. So don't even think about it, Scott. You're playing the whole game.
Can we ask the guys, what would you do? What would you do, Isaac? What would you fly home at half-time if your partner went into labour?
I guess that's something I have to discuss, Dave. I'm not ready for kids just yet.
That was a half-hearted answer.
I've got no idea.
Well, Isaac, say, of course I'd finish the game. I would be playing
football. Of course I would fly home and
Isaac?
support my partner, Candace.
Exactly. Or, of course, I would...
What about you, Maxie?
I think we're missing the big issue here.
What's the big issue,
The bigger
Maxie?
issue is the fact that you should be, if you're wanting to have kids, should be thinking about making them in February, March, April. So therefore the kids
Very
will come
good
around
point,
December.
Max.
Yes.
That is an extremely
schedule
good
it in.
point.
So as the captain of the club, he's let Collingwood down.
Well, obviously it's happened around
Yeah, we can all do the maths, Maxie. It's all right. Who are you tipping,
Don't
Becca?
take us there. Oh, I haven't even done a tip. I don't know what's going on. GWS for me.
All right. History in the making. This weekend, AFL footy goes to China. We also head there next on The Footy Show. Welcome back to The Footy Show. Crowd up and about. It's great to see. And there's been A lot of hysteria, it must be said, Becca and Sam, going into this weekend around the game in China. Look at some of the stories that have run this week in the papers. Gold Coast won't risk asthmatic players. Carey Roos take aim an AFL match in China. AFL expedition's a problem. Coaches say that they're worried about it. Today there was talk about gangs and all sorts of stuff.
Food poisoning,
you name it.
gangs in the streets.
You'd think this game was in war-torn Afghanistan, the way everyone's been setting it up. You're not buying into it.
It's just China.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Sam?
Are we crossing over?
Yeah, we're crossing to China now.
I want to take precautions in case we get contaminated with the smog. I've got it half over my eyes because I don't want to watch the game.
All right, well, let's find out for real and head live and exclusive to China tonight, where the captain of the two teams playing this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Travis Boak and Stephen May, who join us tonight in Shanghai. And as we welcome you in, first Travis and then Stephen, there's been much ado about nothing in terms of the dangers around this game. It looks to be a wonderful build-up, judging by the media today.
Yeah, it has been a great build-up. Obviously got in here on Tuesday and, yeah, look, it's beautiful and sunny over here and, well, not at the moment, it's night time, but we got in today and it was nice. We trained today and beautiful conditions. So, look, it has been a great build-up and just looking forward to Sunday now.
So, Travis, just wondering, you've had a look at the ground. Sorry to cut you off there, Stephen. We've got a little bit of a delay. So, Travis, you, I think, have had a look at the ground and trained there today. Stephen, have you had a chance yet to look at the ground and where you'll be playing?
No, we have our main training sessions tomorrow, but Travis was just telling me the deck's in better nick than Adelaide Oval. So, yeah, we're pretty lucky to be playing on such a nice deck in a history-making game.
How long did it take you to get there, Stephen, as we have a look at the ground and the beautiful images of this wonderful part of the world? How long did it take you to get there, and is it true that nearly all of the team flew economy?
It took us, 7 hours to Singapore, then 5 hours to Shanghai. With a little delay in Singapore, but it was only a couple of hours. But yeah, there was 8 to 10 blokes in business class, and the rest were in economy. But they had 2 to 3, so they had that little spare seat in the middle, which makes a big difference.
Now, talking about who was in a business and who was in economy, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Gary Ablett, who's about 5'10", was in business class, but yourself, 6'3" or 4", you were in economy, and you're captain, and he's not. Is that true?
He was in business. He paid for it himself, though, so credit to Gary. We tried to ask him to shout us a few seats, but we had no luck in that.
Was it also true that the coach, Rocket Eade, was in economy as well?
Yeah, Rocket was in economy. I wasn't too happy.
Now, Travis, you'd feel right at home because Shanghai would remind you of Adelaide a lot, I'd reckon.
Why is that, Sammy?
Because a lot of people.
He said, why is that, Sammy?
Oh, why? Did you say why?
Yes,
why is that? Well, just the size of it and the busyness and the, the bon vivant of everyone there rushing around. You'd feel right at home, I'd reckon.
Yeah, there is a lot of similarities. There's a lot of people in Adelaide and it's always hustle and bustle in Adelaide. Peak hour traffic is a nightmare in Adelaide. So, yeah, very similar over here.
Well, Travis and Stephen, you sit tight. We're going to have a look at this blockbuster game. It is a history-making game on Sunday afternoon. We'll have a look at the Gold Coast side first. Out goes Archie with that back, Matt Rosa with concussion, and David Swallow with the knee. In comes a whole heap at the moment. Obviously, it's only a squad. Over to the Port Adelaide, Dan Houston has been omitted. Carl Amon, Dougal Howard and Aidan Johnson could get a game over there in Port Adelaide. Max, this is a different one because obviously nobody's played on this game, so there's no home ground advantage, so to speak. How do you reckon this will play out? Charlie Dixon, he's been playing terrific footy. He'll be up against his old side.
Yeah, look, it's probably similar to, we go to Darwin, and Darwin's probably 32, 33 degrees when we go there, so it is very different. You've got to acclimatise, but I'm tipping the Gold Coast Suns because I like their form at the moment.
Just quickly, Maxie. My son, who loves his footy, told me that Melbourne played a game there in China in 2010. Were you part of that team?
Yes. I actually went to Shanghai in 2010. We went there for 14 days to play against Brisbane. I would like to give these guys a few tips on how to play the ground, but unfortunately I didn't play. But I can give them a tip on how to play the nightlife in Shanghai. There's a nice nightclub, Steve, if you do have the win, there's a nice nightclub called Mint. Just name Max Gore on the door, see if I can get 20 through.
I believe it's true that the owner of that nightclub is a Melbourne supporter. Is that true?
It is bizarre, and we were having waters with Rafael Nadal, which is so it was a very upper-class nightclub.
Hey, Stephen, you've been doing a fantastic job as captain of the Gold Coast Suns, but you aren't signed yet. Why not? Do you want to be a Gold Coast Sun, or are you going to look at some other options at the end of the season?
No, yeah, I'm loving my time at the Gold Coast and the new role, and you know, I just haven't. I'm sitting down with my manager soon to discuss that, but you know, I haven't been out shopping myself around or anything like that. It's just the process that we've always taken, and I just wanted to get familiar with the role and focus on a few other things before sitting down and deciding on my future.
Well, it's great to chat to you both, and Travis, well done to your footy club, who've been pioneers, who've driven this exercise, who've funded it, who've made it happen, and are taking AFL to the world stage. And for Stephen and his Gold Coast Suns for making the tough trip. Well done for joining us tonight. We wish you both luck in a history-making game on Sunday afternoon, back into Australia on television from China, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Good luck, guys. Good luck.
Thanks,
Great to see you. I hope it all goes well. Now, we're going to take a very short break on the Footy Show, but after this, you don't want to go anywhere because we've got Blues handball right after the break. Coming up next. Podcast after the show each week. You can get it on iTunes. It's called Footy Show Unplugged. It's a must.
There you go.
Oh, no,
Let's get into the game. Carlton and St Kilda up next at Etihad Stadium, 2:10. St Kilda, the home team, and this will be a ripping game of football. Carlton coming with a little bit of form. Stevens is out suspended, which is a blow for the Saints. Weller and Dunstan come in, while we have a look at the Carlton team as they set themselves. And Jack Silvani gets his opportunity back in the side. Zach Fisher also back for the Blues, who are in really good form at the moment, the Carlton Football Club. No question about that. They come in with all the momentum into this game, Hughesy.
We win this and we're talking premiership. I mean,
Who are tipping, Max?
Hughesy said if I tip Carlton, he'll shout me dinner, so I'm going to Blues.
Yeah, I like Petrecki-Seaton as well.
Samo, SBS, he's amazing.
Yeah, so I'll have to go to the Blues.
The Blues!
Samuel?
Come on, Sam. Come on, Sam. No. Turn it around.
No, they've been great, Carlton, but they could not possibly... If Carlton beats...
No. There's some of that jumper left if you want to
I'll eat your underpants.
Saints for you?
Yeah, no, this is the Saints.
Saints for Sam.
Yeah, Saints.
Yeah, I think the Saints I like the Saints. They're a very good side. Saints for me. Let's look at the next game. North Melbourne up against the Sydney Swans on Sunday afternoon. That's the twilight match. Take a look at the north side. Out goes Corey Wagner with an ankle. Jared Waite through suspension. They'll really miss him. In comes Durden, Garner, Mountford, Mullet and Simpkin. Take a look at the Sydney side. No outs at this stage. They've got Newman, Gary Rowan to pick from and Kurt Tippett for that side. Maxie, North or Sydney for you?
Well, both these teams are back in business, but I'm going to go just purely because Kurt Tippett's back for Sydney. I'm going to Swans.
Yeah, there you go. North Melbourne, I think they played really well last week.
North Melbourne are in fault.
Get up, Banner. Sorry, Dave. Banner, get up, hold the banner. Back, Carling, come here. What are you doing? Take your shoes off, Carling. Take your shoes off. Come on. Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off.
Cheers, squad. See you when we go through the banner. What do you reckon?
Come on, we've got to go nuts as you go through.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca Nett about to run onto the MCG. Wait for us. Here she comes. Go.
next.
Welcome back to the Footy Show, everybody. We are going to do loose handball in just a moment, but I do need to remind you on Sunday it is Mother's Day. What better way to celebrate 20 years of the Super Mother's Day Classics? It's an event which raises really important research, money for breast cancer. Hutchie, that's really quite annoying doing that. It's raised a massive $30.4 million for breast cancer research in the process of this great event. Entries, the good news is entries are still open for this year's event. 100,000 people walk and run over 92 locations in Australia. So if you're not doing anything on Mother's Day, well, what better way to start off Mother's Day by doing that? Enter online at mothersdayclassic.com.au. Sorry I'm so bossy to you then, but you just annoy me.
Right, now,
The only time you ever have.
Becca, normally we raise some money via the this time every week, Grandpa, and that's back next week. But in true spirit for Lou Richards, Bill, it's time now for...
Lou's handball. This is what it's all about. Here it is here. And what is going to happen, Hutch? Maxie and Sam are going to have a go. They have 5 handballs each.
Who are we playing for, Bill?
Well, they're playing for the people at home. There they are on the screen right now. And if they can get a combined score of 75 or more, our great friends at Sportsbet will donate $10,000 to Type 1 Foundation, a charity close to Lou's heart. Diabetes. And if they fall short, Sportsbet will still donate $5,000. So it's got to be 75 or more. 5 handballs, 5 handballs.
What, always.
Joke, I tell a joke
We
now.
always had a joke.
I'll tell a joke. This American Navajo Indian went to New York for the first time and he was being interviewed. And he said, the interviewer said, are you married? He said, yes, I'm married. He said, what is your wife's name? He said, 3 horses. And the bloke said, that is fantastic. He said, I've always thought that you people have great names like Running Brook and Still Creek and Sunny Sky. 3 horses. Did you say it? Did you name it 3 horses because you saw 3 stallions up on the sunset riding into the mist? He said, why did you call her 3 horses? He went, nag, nag, nag.
Good clean joke. I tapped the missus on the shoulder the other night, and she said, "It's 20 to 1." I said, "I don't want the odds, doll." Here we go.
Right now, what would Lou Richards say right now, everyone? Let's move the target.
Right, here we go.
Come on, Maxie. 75 points. 7 eye.
Get out the road, David. Get out the road. 7, 14.
Yeah!
24. 31. 31. One more. 7. All right. 38. 38.
Sam, you need 37. Don't stuff it up.
Come on. 5 handballs. 7. 45, aye.
7.
52 in my book.
In Lou Richards' style.
3 7 to do it.
7. 59 in my book. 7. Hang on. 66.
Hang on, he needs 10.
We need 10.
Don't say
$10,000 from Sportsbet.
One more go. Jesus. Come on, Sportsbet will give us one more go, won't they? Sportsbet.
Well, look.
One more go to 10.